Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's journal entry. I went to a networking event recently and I had a really great discussion with someone. And somewhere in our conversation, she said, "So, what is strategic journaling? How is that different from regular journaling?" And before answering, I was proud of myself because I could just go off on answering a question like that. But I paused and I said, "Let me ask you a question." She had mentioned that she journaled. And I said, "What is it that you journal about?" And she said that she journals about goals and that sort of stuff in her business. And so I then from there answered her question. But when I was thinking about a podcast episode, immediately I thought back to this conversation with her. And I thought there are so many amazing benefits to journaling about your goals and writing your goals down and whatnot. But there are also reasons why journaling about your goals isn't enough. If you're journaling about your goals, it might be just that you're doing it because somebody told you to journal about your goals. Somebody told you that writing down your goals 10 times a day is going to make you successful. I don't know who it was that said that, but that is literally advice out there, which as a journaler, strategic journaler, I should say, I do not do that. I don't even write down my goals. Don't tell anyone that. But, anyways, this episode is all about the 4 reasons why journaling about your goals isn't moving the needle forward in your business. Again, it is a great thing to do, but the more that I got to thinking about this, the more that I realized that it's got to be more than just this is my goal or these are the parts and pieces that go into this goal. So we are just going to dive right into it. The first reason that I believe journaling about your goals isn't moving the needle forward or isn't allowing you to achieve that goal is because you aren't listening to your intuition. One part of my answer to this woman about the difference between regular journaling and strategic journaling is that we dig deeper into the emotions behind whatever it is that you're talking about or writing about. So when it comes to journaling, we are writing about how does this goal make you feel? How does this piece of the project make you feel? Do you feel like you're going about it in the right way? And when you're not doing this from a strategic perspective, you're not listening to your intuition with goal setting. You're not asking yourself for even thinking, do I actually want to set this goal? Or am I just doing it because it quote unquote makes sense? Maybe somebody in your industry told you to set this goal. Or again, it just makes sense that, oh, this is the industry that I'm in. This is the typical goal that should be set. Maybe somebody told you that this goal would be a good idea. So you're just kind of going along with it. So sometimes journaling about a goal without thinking a few layers deeper means that you're just kind of going with the flow and it feels right. It feels like it makes sense. It feels good until you drop into the deeper questions that I will help you with in a little bit. The second reason is that you're not addressing your underlying emotions. What I mean by this is that you might be resisting the resistance. I don't know if that makes sense, but your body might have some feelings about the goal that you're achieving or working towards. There might be parts or pieces to the goal or the project or whatever it might be that you're not excited about. You don't feel great about it, but it's part of it. You just got to do it. You are resisting the resistance in your body. I don't know if that makes sense. It's literally the same word, just a different ending. But your body tells you things. Your body is speaking to you. And so when you are working towards a goal, you might feel additional stress or you might feel more headaches. You might be feeling physical symptoms that you are just not paying attention to. You're resisting it and you're just pushing through, you're muscling through because this goal is on your goal list. It's on your objectives list. It's on your to-do list. And so when you're in the zone, when you're clocking into work each day, and it's that you see this action item and you're not strategically journaling as a part of your not even everyday practice, but just a weekly practice, even, you're not paying attention to these underlying emotions that are trying to tell your brain it's fine to go after this goal, but maybe a little bit differently, or maybe tweak the goal slightly to better align with yourself. The third reason that journaling about your goals isn't moving the needle forward in your business is that you're letting your sabotage patterns kick in. A few ways that this might be showing up. I mean, there's lots of different ways, but just a couple that you might resonate with is you won't delegate some of the tasks because you think everyone else on your team is just as busy as you. So you think, I'll just do it, or it'll be faster if I do it. Like you just carry all of the weight. Or you start overworking, meaning working past 5 p.m., or you put the kids to bed and you're like, oh, let me just finish this one last task. But then it becomes 10 p.m. and you're still on your laptop. You do all of this because you fear disappointing someone or falling short or feeling like a failure if you don't do something by a certain deadline. Or maybe your sabotage pattern is overthinking every decision so it comes out perfectly. So you think that you need to overthink. It almost feels like a good thing, a protective behavior, because if you think thoroughly, it will come out better. The project will be better. It will be perfect, even though it's taking you longer. But overthinking is just spinning your wheels. It takes not just you a longer time, but especially if other people are involved or if there are deadlines involved, it's like the bottleneck. You become the bottleneck. There are 10 different types of sabotage patterns, and they come up so often when you're not self aware. And strategic journaling is all about becoming aware, and self aware in the moment so that you can acknowledge them. It's not about never procrastinating or never overthinking, it's about noticing that you're doing it and then disrupting it in the moment. And the last reason that I don't think that your journaling is working for your goal setting is because you're likely not journaling after you achieve the goal. What this looks like is journaling through questions like, what felt good about this project? What felt bad about pursuing this? Did I feel supported throughout this? What would I do differently next time? Where can I give myself recognition for achieving this? What was all that I did? What was everything that went into this? And how can I celebrate myself for doing this? All of that stuff really matters, and it actually sets you up for the next goal that you want to achieve. So, likely, I should look up the percentage, but you're likely not doing that. If you are, first of all, great job. Awesome. Proud of you. But if you are doing that, you're likely not going deep enough where you're noticing the underlying patterns. Like, yes, you did achieve the goal and you're giving yourself the recognition, and you maybe would do a few things differently next time. So you've identified that stuff. But have you also noticed that maybe you had those headaches, like we talked about earlier, or you found yourself overeating during that project? Like maybe every night you couldn't stop eating ice cream or Oreos, or drinking more wine than usual. Or maybe you were insanely stressed. You kept venting to your partner every night, or you cried in the shower 3 times a week. There are patterns like that that you can identify via strategic journaling. Some of that stuff you might be logically aware of like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. But when you don't take the time to slow down and link it to the behaviors, like other behaviors and projects and things happening in your life, you almost just think it's all because of the same reason. And once this project is over, then I'll be fine. Then things will return back to normal. But that's not how it works. The next time you set a goal, you will likely default to overeating. The next time that goal becomes just slightly stressful, you will default to crying in the shower 3 times a week, whatever it might be. And so learning to address what's actually happening and how your body is feeling and overcome that will make it so that you can not only feel better in the moment, but also the next time that you set a goal, your nervous system becomes regulated and you will be able to achieve that goal feeling so much calmer, so much better, and probably so much quicker. So, those are the four reasons. And I also wanted to not just bring this awareness to you, but I wanted to tell you what to do instead. In a nutshell, it's to start being strategic with your journaling, but that's a little bit broad. So, I'm going to break it down to you, which is simply, or maybe not so simply, ask yourself the hard questions. Think one layer deeper. Ask the questions like, why? Why was I overeating? Why am I getting headaches? Are these headaches coming about during certain times of the day or around certain people or specific parts of this goal? Is this really what I want to pursue? Could I pursue this in a different way? Is this really what I want at all? Is this really what I want to feel? From here, and the deeper you go, more emotions will come up. You might think, no, I actually don't want to set this goal at all, or I don't want to set this goal in particular, or I don't want to do this part of the project in this way. But if I don't, everyone will look at me crazy because we've always done it this way. Or you'll judge yourself and think, if I don't do it this way, I'm not good enough. Or why can't I just be like everyone else and just get it over with and not feel so stressed and crazy all the time? And that is the deeper work that I do with my clients. It's getting them to think more strategically. And once you're there, that's where the magic happens. That's where you realize it's more than just guilt. It's this self sabotage that's just been sitting there running the show like a puppeteer this whole time. And when you get through that, that's when you become free. Free to express yourself, free to set goals that actually excite you, and free to do things in a new way that feel good to you, that feel aligned to you. And the whole time you trust yourself. You trust that doing it your way makes it the right way for you. And you'll find the right collaborations. You'll find the right resources. It'll be completed on time or even sooner because you're trusting yourself. You're listening to your body. You're listening to your mind and making quicker decisions the whole time because you're connected. It's not like you are making decisions while being disconnected from your body. So, my challenge for you goal getters, and especially if you are journaling already, but even if not, it's for you to write down those goals and then question them. Ask yourself those harder questions of, does this goal feel good for me? Does it feel aligned in this season of my life? And if so, that's amazing. And start asking yourself, if there's anything that feels off, how can I make it feel better? Is there a new way that I can do something? I'm a very creative person. And so try thinking outside the box and think, can I get to the same outcome, but in a new creative way? Maybe instead of doing it how you've always done it, you could try a completely different way. And if the goal doesn't feel good at all, and you realize, oh my gosh, I have been setting this same goal over and over because it just kind of feels like autopilot, or I was told to, or I read that same book that you did, Sam, that told me to write down those goals 10 times a day and then it would come true. This is your moment to control alt delete if you are typing out those goals, or to rip out that piece of paper from your journal and to write a new goal. It's your time to dream bigger and to set a goal that actually excites you, whether that be in your business, whether that be a personal goal, or maybe even with your family or kids, something that you actually want to work towards. And then again, you can ask the harder questions afterwards of, why do I want to achieve this goal? Why is this exciting to me? And that will tell you so much about what's important to you right now and why you want to pursue that. This is the type of work that, if you can't tell, puts a smile on my face, and you will be able to feel a difference when pursuing these goals. I promise you. And it doesn't take long at all. This journal entry that I'm challenging you to do might take 5 minutes, maybe. So that is your challenge. If you do it, I want to hear about it. Feel free to message me. In fact, please message me over on Facebook, Instagram, or email me. I'll include all of those links in the show notes. And if you're interested in working together in any capacity, I will include a link to learn more about the different ways that we can do that together. Thank you for tuning in this week, and I will see you on Thursday for our quick 5 to 10 minute journaling session. I'll see you then.